Japanese neurologists once placed Neymar inside an MRI scanner while he was playing football. They compared his brain activity to amateur players and even to other professionals. What they discovered defied everything we thought we knew about elite performance. His prefrontal cortex, the region responsible for decision-making and conscious thought, was almost silent. No overthinking, no hesitation, just pure instinct. At first glance, that might sound like a flaw. Shouldn't a world-class player be thinking faster, analyzing patterns, processing 1,000 options per second? But the truth is the exact opposite. The best players in the world are not thinkers, they are transmitters. Their brains enter a state where thought becomes movement, and movement becomes thought. Imagine this. The entire stadium screams, pressure builds, defenders close in, and inside Neymar's mind, silence. Not emptiness, but harmony. A quiet coordination between neurons, muscles, vision, and emotion. Every signal flows without friction. Every action arrives before intention. This is not luck. This is the flow state. A neurological state of total immersion where time slows, awareness expands, and the body performs as if it were programmed by something higher. Athletes describe it as the zone. Scientists describe it as the synchronization of alpha and theta brainwaves. We call it mastery. When your brain enters flow, the prefrontal cortex relaxes. That overactive voice in your head, the one that doubts, overanalyzes, worries, it turns off. Instead, communication shifts deeper into the brain. The motor cortex, the cerebellum, the limbic system. Decision and action merge into one continuous motion. That's why Neymar's movements look effortless. Why Messi can glide through 5 defenders. Why Zidane, Iniesta, Modric seem to dance rather than play. Their secret isn't physical speed, it's mental stillness. Science calls this phenomenon transient hypofrontality. Your logical brain temporarily shuts down so your creative and motor systems can take over. In flow, you stop controlling and start allowing. The body's intelligence takes the wheel. Your subconscious patterns, the thousands of hours of repetition, finally express themselves without interference. To enter flow, 2 conditions must align: skill and challenge. If the challenge is lower than your ability, you become bored. If it's higher, you become anxious. But when both align perfectly, you disappear into the task itself. No self-image, no ego, only motion. Watch any highlight reel closely. The greatest moments in football, the impossible passes, the last-minute goals, the reflex saves, all happen when the player stops thinking. That's the invisible pattern behind every miracle on the pitch. The mind goes silent, and the world bends around it. In that instant, perception sharpens. The ball seems slower, space expands, your awareness widens beyond logic. It feels divine, but it's biological. Your brain releases dopamine, norepinephrine, anandamide, and endorphins, a chemical cocktail that fuses pleasure with precision. This is why flow feels euphoric yet controlled. It is your biology optimizing itself for one purpose: performance. Every great athlete has described it differently. Michael Jordan called it being in the zone. Kobe said, everything slows down. Federer, it's like my body knows what to do before I do. In football, Neymar's silence is the same phenomenon. It is the purest form of self-trust, when instinct overrules intellect. But here's the paradox. In today's world, silence has become rare. Our minds are addicted to noise, notifications, dopamine hits, endless scrolling. The modern brain is never still, and a noisy brain cannot enter flow. So the question isn't how to move like Neymar. The question is, can you silence your mind long enough to let your body remember what it already knows? That is the real training. Not repetition, not gym sessions, not motivational quotes, but the discipline of quiet, the mastery of attention. Because once your mind learns to shut up, your potential finally speaks. This is the beginning of our journey into the science of flow. We'll decode how modern life destroys focus, how cheap dopamine hijacks your brain, and how to rebuild the silence that every legend protects. Because flow is not a mystery, it's a system. Before you can master flow, you have to face a hard truth. Most players will never experience it, not because they lack talent, but because they've destroyed their ability to focus. Their brains are overstimulated, addicted, and fragmented. And this destruction begins long before the first whistle blows. Every morning starts the same. Eyes open, phone in hand, a flood of notifications, messages, short videos, endless novelty. Each one delivers a tiny hit of dopamine, the brain's reward chemical. It feels good, but there's a hidden cost. Dopamine is meant to guide motivation, to make effort feel rewarding. But when you flood it constantly with cheap dopamine, instant pleasure without purpose, the system breaks. Your brain stops responding to normal levels of stimulation. Ordinary life feels dull, training feels boring, and football starts to feel like work. That's why so many players lose focus under pressure. Their brains are wired for fast, meaningless rewards, not for deep concentration. When the moment demands presence, their minds crave distraction. They seek escape, a glance to the crowd, a quick thought of failure, a mental scroll through fears. The prefrontal cortex, the same part of the brain that should stay calm during play, becomes overloaded. Thoughts multiply, doubts appear, and flow disappears. Modern neuroscience has a term for this: chronic overstimulation. It's not stress, it's noise. A storm of micro-distractions that keeps the brain locked in high-frequency beta waves, the state of alertness and anxiety. But flow happens only in alpha and theta, calm, slow, rhythmic brain waves. In simple terms, the modern player's brain is too loud to listen, too restless to feel, too addicted to speed to find stillness. And it's not just screens, it's the entire lifestyle. Energy drinks before games, processed food between sessions, loud music, constant chatter, pressure to post every highlight online. Each stimulus chips away at your inner silence. Once, football was meditation through motion. Today, it's an algorithm chasing attention. Every goal shared, every miss replayed, every mistake multiplied by millions of eyes. No wonder the modern player is tense. No wonder the mind collapses before the body. When the brain is trapped in this overstimulated flow demands a clear signal, a single stream of awareness where every sense unites around one goal. But overstimulation fractures that unity. It divides attention into 1,000 fragments, each pulling energy away from performance. You can train for years, lift weights, run sprints, but if your mind is polluted, your potential is capped. Because no amount of physical talent can override a distracted brain. Scientists now link this problem directly to dopamine desensitization. When your brain receives constant artificial pleasure from junk food, pornography, endless scrolling, its receptors downregulate. That means you need more stimulation to feel the same motivation. The result? You lose interest in the real world. Training becomes a chore, and the pitch stops feeling alive. Think about that. You might love football, but if your brain's reward system is broken, you'll never feel that love the same way again. The joy fades, the fire goes out, and you'll start chasing external validation instead of internal flow. This is the hidden epidemic of modern sport. Athletes with world-class bodies and broken minds. Players who can run for 90 minutes but can't focus for 90 seconds. Addicted to highlights instead of mastery. Hooked on noise instead of silence. But here's the good news. The brain is plastic. It can rebuild itself. You can reset your dopamine system and retrain focus, just like a muscle. But to do that, you must first stop feeding the addiction. That means a dopamine detox. A reset period where you remove all artificial rewards. No phone before noon, no social media, no junk food, no empty scrolling. Instead, you reintroduce boredom. Deliberate stillness to teach your brain that calm is not danger. Because the brain you train in silence performs in chaos. And the brain you train in noise collapses in silence. When Neymar or Messi appear calm on the pitch, it's not just natural talent. it's a nervous system trained for clarity. Every breath, every heartbeat, every movement synchronized through repetition and stillness. They've turned presence into a habit. In contrast, most players live in permanent distraction. Even before a match, they scroll TikTok in the locker room. Their eyes move faster than their thoughts. Your brain is a mirror. What you feed it outside the game will reflect inside the game. If you fill it with noise, you'll see confusion. If you fill it with stillness, you'll see clarity. The flow state isn't found on the field. It's prepared long before you step on it. It begins in your habits, your mornings, your mindset. And it starts with one simple act: resetting the brain. So before we reveal the methods to consciously enter flow, you must learn to quiet the storm, to remove the digital chaos that blocks presence. Because until you master silence, you'll keep mistaking noise for progress. In the next chapter, we'll break down the exact system that rewires your brain for flow. The morning reset, the spawning method, and the dopamine rebuild protocol used by elite athletes to reclaim mental control. Scientific scans show that after 48 hours of reduced stimulation, the brain's dopamine receptors begin to normalize. Motivation returns. Focus increases. This is the soil where flow grows. You are teaching your brain that reward comes from effort, not distraction. And that single shift changes everything. The second stage begins every morning. The moment you wake up, before touching your phone, go outside. Let natural light hit your eyes. Take one slow breath through the nose, one long exhale through the mouth. This simple ritual resets your circadian rhythm, stabilizes cortisol, and tells your brain the day has begun with clarity, not chaos. For 5 to 20 minutes, sit in silence. Don't force meditation, just observe. Watch your thoughts drift by like clouds over a field. No judgment, no reaction, only awareness. At first, you'll notice the noise, the mental chatter, the to-do lists, the random worries. But with each minute of stillness, the noise fades. You begin to see the space between thoughts, the gap where flow lives. In that gap, neurons synchronize, alpha waves rise, the prefrontal cortex relaxes, the body starts to sync with the breath. You are building the neurological conditions for flow before the day even starts. Think of this like charging your mental battery. You cannot perform at peak voltage if your brain wakes up in chaos. Silence is the switch that turns potential into power. Players who practice this ritual report feeling more composed before matches, less reactive to stress, and quicker in decision-making. Because flow doesn't appear by chance, it's invited through preparation. Now, we reach the most advanced technique, a psychological tool used by Special Forces soldiers, surgeons, and elite athletes. The spawning method. 1 hour before the game, find silence. A locker room, a corridor, even the inside of your car. Close your eyes and say to yourself, I have just spawned on Earth. Nothing exists except now. The goal is to erase time. You are deleting your personal history, every mistake, every fear, every expectation. When time disappears, so does anxiety. You are not watching a movie. You are programming neural reality. Studies show that mental rehearsal activates identical brain pathways as real performance. To your nervous system, there is no difference. So when the game begins, your body already knows the pattern. The mind has rehearsed the future. This is how elite players seem prophetic. How Messi anticipates the ball 2 seconds before it arrives. How Modric turns before defenders even move. They've lived the moment in their minds before it ever happened. But visualization alone isn't enough. The secret lies in emotion. You must feel the excitement, the weight, the breath, as if it's real. That emotional charge releases dopamine and norepinephrine, cementing the neural connections that create flow. Combine the spawning method with the morning reset, and you create the perfect neurological storm. Calmness plus readiness. Silence plus electricity. It's the moment before lightning strikes. Reset dopamine. Remove overstimulation. Reset morning. Build inner silence. Spawn now. Delete past and future. Enter play. Allow instinct to move. When you align these 4 steps, your body becomes an instrument and your brain the conductor. There's no conflict, no resistance, only motion guided by awareness. This is what scientists call automaticity. Your actions unfold faster than conscious thought. Reaction time drops by up to 50%. Accuracy increases. Pain tolerance rises. Time perception distorts. You become the observer and the action simultaneously. In football, that looks like Neymar gliding through defenders, De Bruyne finding impossible angles, Alisson reacting before the ball even leaves the striker's foot. Different players, same state, effortless focus. You can practice this outside the pitch too. Every task, every challenge can become training for flow. The way you eat, walk, breathe, and rest. Each moment is a chance to strengthen awareness. Because flow doesn't start in the game. It starts in the mind that walks onto the field. Train silence, train breath, train attention, and the game will take care of itself. When you can control your inner frequency, you can command every outer situation. That is the difference between a player and a master. You've learned the science. You've built the silence. Now comes the integration. Turning flow from a rare moment into your natural state. Flow isn't something you enter, it's something you become. And to stay there, your body, mind, and chemistry must move in perfect rhythm. That begins with the simplest elements: food, oxygen, and awareness. Your brain consumes over 20% of your body's total energy. If that energy comes from chaos, sugar, caffeine, processed food, your focus will follow the same pattern. Sharp highs, fast crashes. But when your nutrition is stable, your mind becomes stable. So feed your flow. Blueberries, to protect neurons from oxidative stress and sharpen reaction speed. Fatty fish, rich in omega-3s that strengthen brain communication. Avocados, for consistent blood flow to the prefrontal cortex. Green tea, for the perfect balance between caffeine and calm, thanks to L-theanine, which promotes alpha brainwaves, the frequency of flow. And water, because even 1% dehydration reduces focus and coordination. You can't control everything in the game, but you can control what fuels the system that controls you. Breathing is the next key. Every emotion has a breath pattern. Fear is shallow. Confidence is deep. When you breathe slowly through your nose, you send a message to your nervous system. I am safe. That single signal allows flow to unfold. Watch the greats before kickoff. Their eyes still, their breath even. They're not just preparing physically, they're calibrating brainwaves. Every inhale brings focus. Every exhale releases noise. Try this. Before every match, breathe in for 4 seconds, hold for 4, exhale for 4, and pause for 4. The box breath. It slows your heart rate, balances oxygen and CO2, and pushes your brain closer to alpha frequency, the gateway to flow. This is how warriors, pilots, and champions reset under pressure. Flow is not about excitement, it's about balance. The perfect mix of calm and chaos, energy and silence. Every time you train in silence, every time you breathe through chaos, every time you choose focus over distraction, you evolve. Not just as a player, but as a conscious being. Football is not just a game, it's a mirror of awareness. It reveals what kind of mind lives inside the body. And when that mind is silent, the body becomes unstoppable. This is the evolution of the player. From mechanical skill to biological precision to mental transcendence. When instinct and science merge, you don't just play the game, you become the game. And that is the future of football. Now listen carefully. You've just decoded the secret that separates talent from mastery, silence from chaos. But knowing the science means nothing until you live it. Tomorrow morning, when your alarm rings, don't reach for your phone. Step outside, breathe, spawn, enter flow. And when that silence finally arrives, when your instincts take over, you'll remember this moment, because this was where it started. Tell us in the comments, when was the moment you felt unstoppable? When time slowed down and you became the game? Share your story. Your silence might awaken someone else's. And if you want to join the movement, if you want to train your mind like the next generation of champions, subscribe to Kicksplosion_TV. Because here, we don't just watch football, we reprogram it. Football is not about the noise of the crowd, it's about the silence that wins the game. And here, we make sure that silence never dies.